Okay, so it's about 6 after, so we're going to get started. We only have our hour here. So I think that we have a lot of folks that are here, which is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. This is the Women in Planning Division's annual business meeting, which normally happens during MPC. So we thought it would be fitting to do it on opening
I will
day.
say all day, every day, the more efficiency we can build out. I mean, things that what
Thank you. Yes, as a reminder, if you want to have yourself muted or in a quiet space, that's great too. Although we are going to have more roundtable conversation, so that is to come. But just wanted to welcome everyone here. My name is Corinne Wendell. I'm the chair of the Women in Planning Division. I'm in my second term. Previously, I was director of programs and been with the division since 2015. And so this is such a wonderful division, and we're so lucky to have all of you as our members. For the agenda today, we're going to go through, I'm going to give kind of a division overview, as you maybe have seen on the agenda. Then we're going to run through some of our accomplishments for 2020, 2021, some of those vision and goals. Then each of the executive committee members who are a part of the elected portion of our division will give their report out of highlights and things that they're working on. Then, as we normally do in our business meeting, this is really a time to have a roundtable, have folks tell us, maybe there are some needs out there, something that we should do for programming, resources, requests. Things are doing well, things we could do better, and then any questions that we have at the end. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. And so I'll start with that then with our overview. So our Women in Planning Division has been around since 1979 when it was officially put together. And since that time, we've actually still been in contact with original members, founding members from our division, which is fantastic. And in that time, focusing on, empowering women, lifting them up in the profession, providing those resources, providing programming, research, making sure that we have in-person events, making sure that we have connections between women in our profession, and really trying to tackle some of the issues that we do have either in the workplace or trying to advance your career. We've had a lot of things around, salary negotiation, trying to equip women with all of the tools and resources that they will need to become a great, woman in planning across not only the country, but we do have members internationally as well. And so that is really something that we're so focused on, making sure that, if you need something, we can provide that in terms of mentorship, connection, interaction, advancing career growth, providing just that support system. So that is what our division is about. And we really want to emphasize that today. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa, who's going to give us a presentation on our work plan accomplishments and then our vision and goals for this coming year. So Melissa, if you could, that would be great.
Sure. Thanks so much, Corinne. And hi, everyone. Welcome to our annual business meeting. I'm Melissa Dickens. I serve as the vice chair of the division. And those who know me know that I can never resist an opportunity to go overboard. So I organized my thoughts today into a short presentation to make sure that we could cover some of the highlights of what we accomplished and also some of the things that we're going to be working on. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, hopefully successfully. All right, are you all seeing a PowerPoint? Okay, great. Okay, so first I wanted to talk through some of our program highlights, some of the things that we accomplished from last year. So first, we continued our—
I think we're not seeing it. I'm not seeing the presentation anyway.
No one is seeing it. Okay, thank you. Oh, because I have to hit share. Thank you. Can everyone see now?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so work program highlights from last year. First and foremost, we continued some excellence in programming. We had several webinars last year on a variety of different topics of interest to the division: gender mainstreaming, career growth, and career success stories. We also awarded 2 diversity scholarships for women, thanks to Corey Parrish. I see her on the call. She helped organize and facilitate that. we held a number of presentations on topics that are important to our members for career growth, things like salary negotiation, planning for women, so making sure that our communities are designed in a way that reflect women's needs. We also continued communicating with our members in a variety of different ways, and Caroline Dwyer is responsible for that. We also had a book club, continuing our book club efforts. That took the form of a Facebook group, so you can join the book club Facebook group and see what folks are reading and what folks are interested in. And then we continue to engage with the variety of chapter programs and chapter groups. Specifically, we had a lot of interest in the Florida chapter this past year. We also had folks in Colorado reach out. So we're excited about the opportunity to have our division members engaging not only nationally and through this platform, but also with each other locally. And we also sent out a membership survey to the members of our division. We really wanted to find out what everyone was interested in and what the priorities should be. So this graphic here shows some of the high level points that we heard from the survey. The top 3 issues that we continue to see as paramount to members of the division are ensuring equity and opportunities for women of color within the division and within the planning profession. Also, pay equity is very important to our division members, and then enhancing the status and role of women within the planning profession. And we have 3 priorities that you all determined should be the top ones for us, and that's promoting the professional growth of women in the planning field, advancing the role of all women within APA with a particular focus on traditionally underrepresented groups, and then also having the division act as a resource to advocate for legislation and planning policy that benefits women. And we wanted to share our vision and goals. I'm not going to read those aloud to you, but wanted to share that as part of what we work on each year, we revisit this vision. We look at how the vision lines up with what we're working on, how our goals inform that vision, and then the goals are used to develop the work program, to develop some of the more tactical approaches for the coming year. So wanted everyone who's on the call today to be able to see what our vision is and see our 4 goals. And then wanted to briefly share some highlights on what we've been working on so far in 2021. First, as a result of some of the responses, or most of the responses in our membership survey, we are developing a pilot mentoring program. This is something that we're starting out for the first time this year. I will say that there was a ton of interest in this when we opened it up. Because it's a pilot program, we wanted to limit the capacity. And so the slots that were available filled up in under an hour, which is absolutely phenomenal. So we're excited that there's so much interest in this program. We think this speaks to furthering women's career growth. We also want to thank everyone who signed up and responded to the call for mentors. This is something that is really important to us in helping to advance the next generation of women within the profession. We've also hosted both FAICP and AICP webinars. These are webinars that will help increase the gender parity in both the certification of AICP and also the College of Fellows. So we wanted to offer that to our members as a benefit. We've also been advocating both behind the scenes and publicly on a variety of issues. First, making or requesting APA ask for a number of different data points so that we can better analyze what our membership, some of the demographics of our membership, where our membership is, just some more information so we know we know some information about the membership. We're also advocating for greater transparency with things like the FAICP selection program, and then of course advocating for gender and racial equity and gender and racial parity as well. We also hosted Women's History Month celebrations that took the form of some great social media and newsletter articles from Caroline Dwyer. We also worked to host some women in leadership for our networking event, and we had some great discussions with women from across the country at that networking event who joined us to celebrate Women's History Month. We also have Corinne Wendell serving as the committee chair on the Divisions Council for the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee. So that's another way that we're influencing and advocating for equity and inclusivity. We continue our communication to our members and our financial or fiscal sustainability. We're very fiscally sound, and we will continue that in the coming year. We have some NPC content Caroline has put together, dismantling some of the, she could say the full title, but dismantling some of the workplace discriminatory practices that are in place. And so you can check her out at NPC. And then we're continuing to engage and collaborate with our chapters on the local level. So I'll stop sharing my screen and also stop talking, but wanted to quickly share what we've accomplished in the past year, what we heard from you all, and what we're working on in the coming year. And I think everyone on the Division Executive Committee is also going to share some of the highlights, so some of the things that they're specifically focused on. Thank you. And I'm trying to stop sharing my screen. Not successfully. Stop share. There we go.
No, that's so great. Thank you, Melissa, for taking us through all of those elements of everything that's been going on these past couple of years. You know, with COVID, I'll just kind of mention it's a little sad on our part because the National Planning Conference is one of our big events that we normally have a giant reception, you know, 200 plus people. We have lots of sessions that we usually put on, and, you know, and then of course having our business meeting in person. And so this, hopefully we will reconnect next year when we're in San Diego for in-person. And then also we usually fund local events for women in planning committees, whether it's a part of your chapter or not, per state. So keep that in mind as things, you know, start to open back up. If you would like to have an in-person event for women in your area, if you want to contact us and know who from our division is in your area, we're happy to do that for you, just so that we can regain that connection once we're able to. Which is great. So with that, we're going to go through some of the work plan reports. And so I can start with a few things that, you know, I am directly contributing to with the division. And Melissa mentioned it a little bit in the presentation. I do chair the EDI committee as a part of the division's council. And two of those areas that we are focusing on are trying to get some data points from APA. So within our membership survey, we ask for demographic information. APA sometimes asks for certain demographic information, but not always. And so we want to have a closer relationship with how we can track progress, because we don't know we're doing well unless we have some sort of you know, qualitative data and quantitative, you know, to go with that. And so we would really like to know more about our members, know more about how we're doing in the AICP space, FAICP space, you know, as we're tracking students to professionals, you know, and then in their career and how we can help. That's really how we dig into the numbers. And so that's something that this afternoon I'll be giving out a report to the Divisions Council made up of all the chairs of all the divisions and interest groups. And so we'll be talking about data points and then also FAICP, trying to make that pipeline stronger for FAICP, trying to induct more women planners and planners of color is very important. We've been side by side with our population divisions, really trying to make that work and trying to emphasize that, you know, if we don't have the data points and if we don't know more about the selection process, then we can't really serve our members. So we're trying to connect those dots and give them a little bit more information. Also, we've been working really hard getting our own FAICP nominees through the process. The deadline is August of this year. It's every 2-year cycle. And so with our webinar, The Road to FAICP, with our FAICP committee, which is chaired by Sylvia Vargas, who just was inducted, we are probably going to nominate 4 women this year. So we are so excited. That is a big number for us. And we want to advocate for our numbers to increase as well as all of the other divisions. And so all of our information that we put together to get our folks through, we are sharing with all of the divisions so that everyone can get all of the information that they need to make that happen. And then also with our scholarships, we're increasing our scholarship dollars, given that we're not meeting in person. So all of that money, all that dollars that are within the division is going to scholarships. We're trying to make that work, that we enhance, new professional, mid-career, seasoned professional, whether it's with conference programming, registration or AICP dues. We do pay for our FAICP inductees or selection committee to get through the process. So we're kind of allocating that. We're trying to, within this, COVID era, trying to reallocate those dollars. And so that's something in part that was mentioned before that we increase for students, and then we're also trying to increase for members. So you'll see that criteria roll out in the coming months here to take advantage of that. And so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Melissa to talk about vice chair items, and then we'll hear from the rest of our executive committee.
Thanks, Corinne. I'll be brief since you all already had to sit through a PowerPoint on my end, but wanted to share that as vice chair, I'm actively working on the pilot mentoring program. Caitlin Wentz, who is our director of programs, and I have been doing some matching of the initial pairs. So we will be reaching out to those folks who signed up within the next couple of weeks to let you know about our matching, and then also invite you to a kickoff event. Also, as vice chair, have been helping with the FAICP nominations committee and working to increase gender parity in FAICP, as well as coordinating locally with the groups in the Florida chapter. Thanks.
And I think we have Caroline next.
Sorry, I don't have the agenda open. Hi, I'm the Director of Communications, doing a great job communicating here today. And this is my second term in this elected office. Super excited to be back supporting the communications of the division. So I am primarily responsible for the emails and the newsletters and the social media that you see coming through your inbox or across your platforms. So this year, really, as we do each and every year, we're trying to improve our communications to make sure we can reach all of our members and let y'all know what's going on and share the news that you share with us. So this year, we've put out 1 newsletter already. We have plans for a few more. As always, please send us information about any accomplishments or events or interesting things that you'd like us to share in that email newsletter for you. We also try to send out fairly regular email communication about more timely events. So when we're trying to advertise some of our webinars or things like that, other opportunities, you'll see those communications. And I'm super excited that we are convening a committee for social media. So we have some folks who are going to be taking that on and really building up our presence on social media, which is great because it's hard to sort of, I'm getting spread a little thin, and it's hard to try and manage all of those different pieces of communication at once. One exciting thing we did this year, of course, as Corinne mentioned, we had a little bit of extra budget available. And in our survey, some folks mentioned that they weren't seeing our communications. So we did send out a hard Christmas card via the USPS this year. So hopefully some of you received that in the mail. So that was something a little different. And we made sure we included information about where you can find all of our newsletters and other communication content that we have been pushing out. let's see, I'm trying to think what else we can say about communications. Of course, if y'all have any ideas or if anyone wants to share something or content that we can share with our membership, always let us know. I'll be putting a call out shortly, probably in the next week or so, for content for our next newsletter that'll be coming out. As Melissa mentioned, we have a session that we're going to be presenting on Friday morning, which is called Confront and Dismantle Discriminatory Workplace Practices. And we have a really super set of panelists, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rooted in whiteness professional norms that we encounter in our workplaces in ways that we can all work to create a more inclusive and diverse work environment for our peers and our colleagues. So I'm excited to be moderating that and looking forward to that conversation. Yeah, and I think, you know, we'll be communicating about the mentorship program. As Melissa mentioned, we'll be communicating this year about the FAICP induction process. Of course, if you are eligible or know someone who would be a great candidate, please let us know. We are always excited to support great candidates for that process to get more women onto that group of individuals. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Caroline. We have Christine next.
Hi, everyone, and my name is Christine, and this is my first term with a Women in Planning Division. I am super excited to be able to contribute in this way and be part of this amazing group of women who is working to advance, you know, women in our field. And as the Director of Membership, my primary responsibility is to keep track of our members and making sure that we have the opportunity to welcome you all to our division, and making sure that I keep track of, you know, who is in our division, what type of memberships we have, and making sure that we can tell what kind of growth or you know, just like keeping track of AICP and FAICP as it goes. So a little bit update on that. Just from our data, we can see that we're definitely growing. From December 2020, we had 1864 active members. And to now, last month, March 2021, we have 1921 active members. So we are definitely seeing growth, and that's very exciting. And we're really looking forward to having even more growth in the future. And that just really speaks to the fact that there are a lot of interest in, you know, women planners and the advancement of women planners in our field. So that's definitely really good to see. And a little bit more statistics for you guys, just because that's what I do. So we have 14 lifetime members in our division, and we have 768 regular members. We have 5 retired members in our membership, and we have around 1,100 student memberships in our students in our membership. And in terms of AICP and FAICP, which Corinne mentioned, is definitely something that we wanted to track. We have around 327 AICP members in our membership right now, and we have around 24 FAICP members in our membership right now. And I know from all of our conversations, that's definitely something that we want to work to increase, and making sure that women in planning definitely are getting opportunity to get those recognitions that they deserve. So it's definitely something that we encourage everyone to pursue. Something else that I really want to be able to work on some more is membership engagement, and definitely more networking opportunities to, you know, bring in more recruitment, and any and all ideas that you guys might have on what we can do to be more engaging and bring more membership and recruitment is definitely something that I would love to hear, and that I know we would love to work on so that we can bring more visibility to our division. And that's all for me.
That's great, Christine. Thank you so much for rounding out all of our membership numbers. It is true. When I started, we had 300-ish members. And so in just the past 6 years, I mean, this is amazing how many women have come into the division. And so we are just hoping to grow those numbers year after year. And so next we're going to hear from Chanel. She's our Director of Chapter Engagement.
Hey, so, good afternoon and good morning to some. Yep, my name is Chanel Frazier. I'm Director of Chapter Engagement with the Women in Planning Division, and this is my second term with this super awesome division. I just want to jump back to Corinne mentioning, the in-person NPC being this really great and wonderful event. And that's how I found this division, through Corey and Caitlin, who reeled me right on in. And it has been such a pleasure. I was definitely having imposter syndrome. Hey, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'm ready. And I've just been so embraced and encouraged perpetually by this division. It's taught me a ton. So thank you guys so much for just coming here and spending your time with us this morning during this business meeting. My primary update, I started in the division when I was finishing up my grad program. All of a sudden, okay, grad school's almost done. I'm going to have time to do all these great programs for the division. The pandemic hits, studying for AICP begins. It's a lot of things, but I feel confident. The main thing I've been interested in doing on the chapter level is having some of these conversations. Different states have different planning issues. Melissa, listed out the top priorities of the divisions. And while those are the top, not the top priorities of the divisions, the top priority of the division members. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, she went over each of these items, but state by state, we still have different issues that we need to engage in, even region by region. And so, building on the really great work that Christine did last month with this awesome networking event that we had. I also see someone here, hi Bethany, who was at my table during this networking event. What ended up happening was we were kind of just having, it was a conversation about equity. And then it generally just expanded to, oh, and also my friend Sarah's here. It generally expanded to a conversation about the different issues we have as women planners. And I think that, Melissa and Caitlin and everyone is doing such great work on these really formal professional mentorship opportunities that we also just need those kind of more simple, relaxed conversations. Decompressing and just being honest and candid and valid. That's also a part of professional development, right? So it is my super, super hope to wrap up and get done an opportunity in which we could do maybe region by region, just these kind of decompress sessions of engagement. And that is the plug for that. I also encourage everyone to attend the session on Friday about dismantling the workplace systems. It's going to be super awesome. And we were just going to continue to share knowledge and build upon all the great work everyone's done. So thank you guys so much. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, Chanel. Thank you for, all that you do for our division. And it is definitely, an evolution for each of these positions as we move through, whether we're staying on through the division or whether we're, just coming on and new, or we've been here for a while, we're always evolving, the work that we're doing. And so Chanel, thank you so much for all that you do for us. And I will echo that we do see a lot of our Women's History Month networking event participants here today. So I'm so excited about that, to have you and to see you again, which is amazing. So next we're going to go to Kate. Kate is our Director of Administration.
Thank you. Good morning. So as Corinne just shared, I'm Kate Zanin, so I'm the Director of Administration. I joined the executive partway through last year. So I think I'm actually just approaching my 1-year mark with the division. So Before I go through my area, which is not as exciting from the outside because I do a lot of the behind the scenes work, but I did want to share that for me, it was really important to join the division. And then from that, I would join the executive because I started my planning career in the US and then moved back to Canada about 10 years ago now. And I found being in Canada, I was feeling more and more disconnected from the planning profession. And while I attended APA, online events, not that there were that many pre-COVID, and would attend annual conferences every other year. When I was at conferences, I didn't have that same network. So I actually participated in a mobile workshop that had several members of the executive and other division members as part of that workshop. And through connecting with them, realized that some of my strongest connections to planning were really through the division work. And while APA is a wonderful organization, that I actually had greater chance to meet people, learn and grow and advance my career in a different way through the division. So I appreciate all of you being here today, and hopefully you're also having that experience. So as I said, I am relatively new to the executive. I joined it strictly because I wanted to continue to have more opportunity to work on women in planning topics, support other women, and be more connected. And so my role as director of administration doesn't actually see very many outward activities. It's mostly internally in terms of our record keeping, but I do support with creation of different support positions. And so if there's ever an interest in being more involved, Corinne, I know in the past has had calls for people to participate as volunteers through various ways, and I would support in helping define that role a little bit for you, get connected to other division members. So I won't share much more because obviously minutes and agendas aren't that exciting, but nevertheless, I just encourage people to get as involved as they have time for. And even when you don't have time, just stay involved where you can, because it's very rewarding. Thank you.
That's so great. Thank you, Kate. And Kate has been tremendous in keeping us organized. We have a Google Drive like you wouldn't believe, and we keep track. That's like the nerdy fun stuff, like let's be organized. And so she keeps us organized, our policies, our bylaws, our procedures, everything that we do, so that we make sure that we do it well, and that we continue, to pass the torch, once our positions are filled with new faces. And so I cannot say enough about Kate, how she's kind of just made sure that we are kind of just making all of our processes easy to understand, and then really helping our division thrive. And so we're going to hear from Jillian next, who is our Director of Student Engagement.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Jillian Hagstrom. I'm the Director of Student Engagement. This is my first term serving on the executive, so I joined in January. I am right now finishing up my Master's of Urban Planning degree at the University of Washington. I'm going to be done next month, so I have been fairly consumed with that. But one thing I'm looking into is connecting with more of the planning student organizations so that we can hopefully reach students who are maybe not members of our division, but maybe are APA student members, or maybe aren't APA student members. And I know it's a great opportunity. I'm very happy I've joined, got to meet all of you, have lots of really good networking and learning opportunities, and it's free, so all students should join. There's no reason not to. So yeah, looking into that, and then looking forward to being done my degree so we can look into other ways to engage our students and also keep them in the division after they no longer have that free membership. So it's nice to meet all of you, and I'm glad to be here.
That's great. Thank you, Julian. Yes, and Julian is just came on board, newly elected, and so we're so lucky to have her and to be able to connect with our students, which in our membership, we always have a great amount of students, and we love to support them through having them showcase their work, their capstones on our webinars. We really enjoy having students as part of our student scholarships, and then also ensuring that we can help them transition from student to new professional. That's really important to us. So the next two, Margaret, who's our treasurer, and then Caitlin, who's our director of programs, they had some work scheduling conflicts. So I'm just going to kind of give it a little overview of what they do. Of course, Margaret handles our budget, all of our financial aspects of the division. And as Melissa stated, we've always had a very fiscally sound budget with, the membership dues that come in, the money that we get through APA. And so even though it's a smaller budget, it has grown over time, which is great. We have been able to produce these events that are revenue producing, and with COVID happening this year, as I've mentioned before, we've reallocated some of those funds that we would normally use for, different travel, different reception, different in-person events, to make sure that we can support our members, and then also grow that area. So that gives us an opportunity to rethink how we want to spend the dollars in terms of supporting more members and being able to give back out to our division. And so that's something that we're going to continue to work towards. And then towards the end of the year, we will start doing our work plan for 2022. And then our budget and our work plan really align together. So as we do those work plan items, we are assigning budgetary line items to go with that so that we can fund the vision that we have, just like any other budget, making sure that there are dollars to support the work. And then with programs, of course, you've seen that in March, we did a big rollout for Women's History Month, which we will continue to do. We had our Road to FAICP webinar. We had our Road to AICP webinar. We had our women's networking event, which was fantastic. And then Caitlin has some more programming towards the fall that we're going to be rolling out with youth engagement, our Girls Who Plan program, and then rolling out a new other program to go with that. And then we are also continuing with our book club, of course. So join if you haven't already, which has been so wonderfully run by volunteers. Something that we just support them, and they do great things, which is amazing. And then also just with our volunteers. So we are always looking for volunteers. We have assigned a new volunteer captain who can help organize the needs of the division, which is so great. And we've had new support coming in for social media and for our website. And a lot of our volunteers, then become maybe elected members for our executive committee. So we love that. We love to make sure that we can introduce those who want to have a little bit more of a role in the division to be able to grow then and maybe have these type of leadership positions, which is great. And then I just wanted to give a quick update on the equity and zoning. If you may have heard, we were invited by APA to be a part of the research for a new APA policy guide related to equity and zoning. And so we did send out a call for that. So we're just in a little bit of a holding pattern, waiting for the consultant to connect with APA after the conference. And so I will send out an email to everyone, kind of letting them know where we are, those who volunteered for that. So that is something that we also always look forward to, is having APA reach out to us or other organizations to be able to connect. During Women's History Month, we had not only Planning Magazine, but also Greater APA reach out to our division to gain more resources that they could then enhance through their channels, and then also promote the programming that we were participating in. And so that is something that we're always excited to kind of lean into, and then to invite all of our members to participate too. And so with that, that is sort of the end of our work plan reports. And so now we really want to open it up to everyone who's here. We want to, whether it's in the chat or raising hands or just collectively, what we really would like to know is, is there any programming or any type of, resources or needs that you haven't seen the division be a part of yet? Or if there's some other challenges that we can help participate in, or if for next year, for MPC 22, if there's any type of webinars or panels that you would like to see. So I'm just going to open that up, and whoever wants to jump in would be great. Yes, Carol.
The task force of the AICP has drafted a new code of ethics, and that will at some point go out for review. I would hope that the division would want to respond. There's a lot more emphasis on justice and equity, but it's also, how do you conduct yourself in the workplace? I was on the task force that did the drafting, so I'd be happy to be on a committee. You've already got a strong justice and equity component, but there may be volunteers who would like to engage in working on that. So I want to put that out there as something that we need to be prepared to do whenever AICP releases the document. It's still undergoing internal review. But sometime soon is the schedule.
That is fantastic, Carol. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, and definitely something that we can support with volunteers. All right.
I'm really excited to hear that you're going to be expanding the scholarship opportunities. How much are you anticipating on expanding them? And are you planning on trying to expand it every year by like $200 or something small like that, or reach a point? Like, what is the plan going on with the scholarships?
That is a great question, Corey. Thank you. And so what we've done so far, and I would dig into the budget if I can find it, but it's in the Google Drive. But what we're doing with of course, the diversity scholarship is we are able to get one of those from the Divisions Council as we normally have, and then we've doubled that. So we've matched that with our division so that we at least have 2 of those. And then we have another bucket for scholarships. And I believe we put a couple $1,000s over there, at least $2,000 for the kind of early career, mid-career, and seasoned professional. And we have Caitlin and I don't know if it's Caitlin and Christine, I think, working on some of the criteria for that. And so that's going to roll out here in the next month or so, getting all of those kind of just what can we do to support, and then what would that, what would those allocations look like if they're $500 allocations. But we would like to hold that if possible. We would like to just grow the budget so that we can have that in there going forward. That would be something that we would love to support, not only the diversity scholarship, but then also just scholarships as a whole on top of what we already budget for. So that is something that we would definitely like to keep as we've allocated those other funds we're not using this year, and then just grow that with other offerings that we have. Other suggestions? I don't know if I can see everybody. So if you have a suggestion, you could just shout it out.
I wanted to share a couple other things that we're working on behind the scenes while people are thinking of some other suggestions or ideas. One of the things that we're doing is we're reaching out to the author of The Feminist City. Her name is Leslie Kern, and many of you, I see nods, so many of you love the book as much as I do. And so we're hoping to have her as a speaker for our division this fall, potentially be collaborating with the ladies who run our book club to, have a coordinated event, but she's already responded and said she'd be interested. So we'll hopefully be hosting her as a speaker this fall. And the other thing that we're working on behind the scenes, Caitlin Wins, who's director of programs and unfortunately couldn't make it, but I know that she is working on coordinating with the other population-based divisions to do sort of a population-based conference. So having speakers focused on women, also speakers from the Planning in the Black Community Division, Latinos in Planning, the LGBTQ division. And so that should be a really nice program that will be focused specifically on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I wanted to share that for everyone too.
That's very true. And also, with our newsletter as well, I've spoken to some recent grads and then to be graduating this year. And a lot of the research and capstones that they've been doing, if there's a way that you can shorten a little bit or give a synopsis and give it to our newsletter, that would be amazing. We would love to highlight you and your work. One of the students I spoke to, her work is going to be published. So she is going to put something together for us to highlight the work that she is doing. She's out of the University of Michigan. And so that's something that we would always love to support, or any other projects. If there are project highlights or things that you all are doing in your work, feel free to, send us an update on what's going on. We want to know all the rock star stuff that is happening across the country. Or we could do a series. We always like to highlight our members, which is really important. And something that we may bring back for MPC 22 is something that we had been approved for, selected for in Houston that didn't happen, is our mobile workshop. It was going to be the first time our division was going to do a mobile workshop. We were partnering with the transportation division and highlighting women in transportation. We were going to go to 3 locations: a neighborhood, the Port Authority, and then their transit authority. And so that's something that we could recreate for San Diego. So if you or someone you know wants to be a part of that, let us know. Or for any of the different submittals that we do for MPC 22, we would love to partner with our members and put together great panels. So that's always available as well. Well, any other, if there's any other suggestions or questions or something that you participated in with us that you wanted to highlight, that, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I think we're about 9 minutes to 1. And so we can always end early as well. I guess I'll give a last call if anyone wants
I just wanted to note Christy's suggestion in the chat, and she said, has the division ever thought of selling merch to raise funds toward a dedicated purpose, like perhaps a scholarship fund or another fund?
That is a great, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, so we have, of course, our new website with APA, and so that's something that I believe we can add. We have thought about that in the past. Of course, we have our lanyards that we try and give for free to our division members when we see you all, and something that we definitely could consider to raise money for those scholarships. You're right, and for our division. So that's something that we can definitely discuss at our next business meeting and see if we can maybe roll out some products to help support the division. That would be really great. And especially around either Women's History Month or just have them available on the website throughout the year would be amazing. So thank you for that suggestion. That's actually really awesome.
I would just also add, as you're doing outreach for the different population groups, that it seems like the tribal planning division is gaining a lot of momentum and looks like that's going to be happening. So just whatever efforts you can do to roll them in, that would be great also. I know they've worked for a long time to try and get that division to become a reality. So yeah, but great to see all the efforts here and everything. It's nice to see everyone today. Thank you. Thanks everyone for their time.
Thank you, Robin. Yes, that is such a great way for us to welcome a new group or new division into our division family. And so I'll be able to see their chair here, and the leadership meeting for Divisions Council is today from 1 to 4. And so I'll be able to see them, which is great. So yes, we would love to pair with them. And I believe they are on our list for, that's Caitlin is reaching out to the population-based divisions to do some collaborative programming. And so that is excellent. And I'm so happy that they have become a division, because it's no small feat. There's definitely some things that you have to achieve and gain before becoming a division. So that is outstanding. Let's see, any other suggestions?
I have a couple more things in chat now too.
I think then with that, I think we will keep track of the chat. I know that Kate is we're recording this meeting and having it be a part of our minutes as well. And so we will take in all of those suggestions as we always do. We love participation in our membership survey. Our email is always available for folks to email us with any suggestions or issues that they have. We are always here to address that and to be a resource to you. So I think just on behalf of our executive committee, we want to thank all of you for coming today. We have 30 folks. So that is great. That actually the benefit of virtual is that we get to see more faces than maybe we would see at the conference, given proximity and just scheduling. And so I just appreciate everyone being here today and supporting the division in all that you do in your work. So thank you so much. And we will definitely see you through our social media channels and then hopefully in person next year if you're there, or in your local chapters as well. So feel free to reach out to us. But with that, we'll just say thank you and have a great rest of your day and a great conference if you're a part of the conference.